is honestly super good. I'm more of a chip salsa guy though.
We
You know,
haven't actually killed much, guys, to be perfectly honest.
Not everything's
look,
on
it's
here.
been big shit.
No, I'm just thinking through. Honestly, we haven't killed that much. More of our encounters with people has been
Disabling.
disabling and roleplay.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, we've been
we
decent.
haven't killed that much. Yeah, you're right.
And we
So
killed
to
that
be
bastard.
fair,
We killed that
yeah,
bastard.
to be fair, I'm just saying. To be fair, out of the amount of people we have met, we really haven't killed that much. Especially
very-
when you take out the monsters as opposed to the people.
And that's
That's
a
true.
good thing.
We are not murder hobos. That takes up pretty much this entire line. And honestly, this person's kind of a monster too, because she was like a demon or something, right?
Yeah, she's a blood
Yeah.
witch.
So yeah, like taking those out,
And even
these
then,
people just died on the boat. I'm pretty sure, right?
No,
Wait,
that,
But this guy did. The other
It
two,
couldn't
the other two died.
no, we definitely killed two of those.
Oh,
One of
right,
them
on
may
the
have
boat
died
or
on the
whatever.
boat. Yeah, two of those were definitely murder. And even then, I'm not entirely certain the Shadow Assassin was all there and you could class him as technically a humanoid at this point. Come
I
on.
don't think that is a good.
He'd
What's
gone
the
off
word?
the deep end. I mean, really?
I don't
I
think
mean,
that's a
are
good
knife fears
defense.
really people?
No, I was
Damn!
more pointing out the fact
Shit!
that a couple of points I was quite worried that it was murder hobo-y, but we're actually not.
Wow! Did you forget who happens to be the ranger?
You
You're a
forget
half
what the
of.
ranger happens to be.
You're a half of, so you only get half discrimination.
You're like
Which half?
So you're left half.
Let me hide my ears. Let me have my ears.
And it has been right around a year that we've been in this together.
Let's see. I've been in it
Yeah.
for what, 8 months? I think.
Yeah, we're doing,
9 months.
we're doing great.
I mean, I will literally say thank y'all for letting me join in and stick around.
Thank you for joining. It has been a pleasure.
It's fun. Always fun having someone else like role playing.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining. It was a pleasure having you. Nice knowing you. So everyone else, get together next session, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Callahan's dead. Yeah. Yeah. That next session, Callahan's dead. Somebody killed him.
Mhm.
He died in his sleep of old age.
Now, I will say some of this probably, like Mary Taylor over here, probably won't come back up again because she's in connection with the captain's backstory related stuff.
Oh.
So probably won't unless we were, looking to
Yes, unless you
acquire
actively
a ship
pursue.
of some
Yeah.
form and go
Yeah.
down that route.
Yep. If you actively pursue it.
Yeah, of course.
Just
Now
the
we
same
are.
as I would imagine most of my former house staff will not come up again.
Most likely, yeah.
Still looking forward to going and saying hi to Taro.
Yeah, there is that. Apart from it's only been mere minutes that we were away, so she won't have got anything new for me. So
it's been days technically it's been days for us.
Yeah, but for her, it's only been minutes. We can't suddenly go back and go, right, where's the information I wanted you to get me? What? I'm still sweeping the glass up off the floor. Oh, yeah, okay, then.
Yes. So Silver was invisible. She's now idle. I sent her a message, but she has not responded. So I don't know. Sorry.
Do you want me to to ping you my answers. I've got the answer to the questions
Oh
that
yeah,
I've got answers for.
sure, if you have like a full written list, you're welcome to like send that to me on messages, whether today or anytime. If also you don't have to answer everything, or if there's just select few you want to send them to a written form, that's great as well. I just want to discuss a little bit of it.
On the other hand, I am better in spoken form, which is why
Yes.
I've read through them and have an idea of answers for them, but it's better for me to speak about it.
Yep.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that's why I have a notebook somewhere. Where's my notebook?
And yeah, I do want to go through them, but as well here where we can all discuss as well. But I
Mhm.
want to go ahead and send what I have so you have it for your records.
Yes.
See, if I sat and put my thoughts down onto paper, you would have like 15 A4 pages worth before I finished. So it's not. I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not good at making my points concise on paper. I'm better in words.
Yeah. Oh, and now I have. Okay, there we go. Cool.
Oh, I was muted. Like what Kibble was saying, I would write way too much, so I gave you like very basic bullet points when I sent you. So if you have any questions, you can just ask me.
All
Because I
right.
know I also write way too much.
So
I
try to be
did
very
go crazy.
concise.
I did
Yeah.
go crazy,
I
but
probably won't look them over while we're discussing here, but I will for sure read the entire things later. And this will be, of course, a short session. We'll probably only be here like an hour, maybe an hour and a
That
half.
makes sense. Let me just chow down on more food more efficiently with how to speak. I dig it. I'm so hungry, dude. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
That is a
I had
long day.
these protein waffles for breakfast. They were delicious,
Ooh.
but like they're Kodak waffles or Kodiak waffles. They're delicious, but they're like 200 calories each, and that's just not enough for my day. I did have a few strips of bacon too, but 4 strips of bacon is like nothing. That's not enough food.
Agreed. Are you the pre-made ones? Or you use the box mix?
The waffles are pre-made protein waffles.
Okay, yeah. I think we just carry the box mix at our Walmart. We have the pre-made like Equate or Great Value, not Equate. Equate's medicine. The Great Value version at our Walmart.
Let's see.
I love waffles. In fact, I probably make waffles in the morning if I left to it.
This is going to be very off topic in it, but I just sent you the link to the waffles I get.
Is there an affiliate link? Do you like make money off of it?
No,
Oh, those ones. Okay, yeah, we do have those ones.
I love these waffles.
I forgot what the box looked like. They're in aisle A3, section 2, maybe section
I love
3.
these things. They're my favorite waffles. They're
Well played, Scott. Well played.
I work at Walmart.
I know. Well played. Well played.
There's a lot of stuff I have stuck
My
in my head.
favorite is probably buttermilk. The buttermilk ones.
The tanginess.
And probably chocolate chip because I'm a sucker for chocolate. Like dark chocolate, though not like more of a rich chocolate. I don't like sweet chocolate. More of like a richer chocolate though. Almost like a savory chocolate. I do like savory foods more than I like sweet foods.
Same.
I think
Like
they're
I
much
like
better.
I like eating yogurt in the morning, and
Oh, yogurt's so good.
I like skyr.
What's skyr?
It's Icelandic version of
You spell
Yogurt.
that.
High protein SKYR. We have it over here too. It's one of the best yogurts we have.
Skyr yogurt. Icelandic dairy product that resembles yogurt but is thicker and creamier due to a more intense.
But I do also like regular plain Greek yogurt. But I prefer the skyr because it's I don't know, it's more protein full,
Yeah,
you know.
I've been throwing sugar-free pudding mix into my Greek yogurt recently.
But what I like to do is I have like preserves from this place.
Ooh.
Y'all know HEB, right?
Nope, but I know what preserves are.
Yeah.
But basically, HEB is like it's like a Walmart that is people specially made, like locally sourced stuff.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
HEB is awesome.
HEB is great, and so HEB has like a brand of preserves, and it has one of them has red currant, raspberry, strawberry, and I think cherry. And so I put that with my skyr. Like
What
a spoon of preserves.
what I do with my yogurt is, since I live on a farm, if I want fruit, I just take it off and put it in.
Mm.
I don't have it. I'm guessing the preserves are dried.
No, preserves is it's like jelly jam, but with more fruit in it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
It's like it's
Okay.
made with sugar, and so it
Okay.
adds the sugar into the skyr, and so I
For
have
some reason, I was
it's a
thinking you're
plain.
talking about like dehydrated food.
No.
He's putting beef jerky in his yogurt.
I mean, it probably would
Chewy.
taste good.
No,
Maybe.
it wouldn't. You're
Use it-
wrong.
Well, fries and Frosties, like, I mean, it's kind of the same. Not really the
I
same
think it
thing,
would
is
taste
it?
good.
I'm gonna have to go Sesame Street on this one, Scott, and say one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just isn't the same.
Dude, one of my favorite things is French fries in a vanilla milkshake, dipping them in.
Into a
well,
chocolate frosting.
Not a chocolate fan.
I don't like that. That's gross. to
Fries
me.
dipped into vanilla ice cream is one of the best things I've ever done. They have to be like plain fries, so they can't be seasoned.
It's a
You just
lot
have to have
better
a plain
than
fry.
seeing people dip it into mayo, though.
That sounds. I just don't like mayo.
There's nothing wrong with mayo.
I don't like mayo.
I like mayo. I don't like fries
don't.
in mayo.
It would be such a boring world if we all liked the same things, wouldn't it?
What's it
Yes, it
called?
would.
Tomato and mayonnaise mixed together. Aole?
Mayo chup,
Aioli.
No, it's not aioli.
mayo
I
chup,
love aioli.
mayonnaise and ketchup.
No. There's a certain French word for it, or Dutch, or whatever the fuck. It's
Bonjour.
European. No. But it's
Our ignorance is showing.
I like ketchup and mayonnaise because it's essentially the same thing as Cane's. Raisin Cane's is basically
Now,
yeah,
mayo.
It's a special sauce in a McDonald's burger.
Mayo is egg whites, right?
Used to be. It still has some. It's mostly soybean oil.
It's oil. It's not egg whites.
I thought it was.
It
egg
used to
whites.
be, and it
the
still
yolk.
tastes better when you make it with egg whites and yolk. Put bits of the whole egg in it. At least we do over here.
The shell as well.
I think.
Get that.
Yeah, okay, not the shell.
Get that extra calcium. Some abrasive for to help clean your teeth.
Feed the shell back to the chicken, damn it.
Fairly, you don't put egg
Honestly,
white in with
eggs?
mayonnaise no matter what.
No, we do. Oh, or at least I do in the ones we make at home, although I make it rarely.
I think eggs are one of the best superfoods there are. I love eggs.
All right, we're gonna start without Silver. I sent her another message. I'm being sure to record it if she wants to listen in the aftermath afterwards. So
This is
I
live
imagine-
on your channel.
it is live. Yeah, it's on the Twitch. I mean, whenever I stream, I always just whenever I record anything, I just stream it and then upload it to YouTube because I don't do any
Okay.
editing or anything like that. All right. first off, I just want to express my thanks as I have before. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate this. This is my first long-term campaign style game I've ever run. I've played in a couple short-term and one other long-term game, but I just really enjoy the experience. I want to keep moving forward, presumably, if everybody else is around for that. And
Just to interrupt there again, back at you and again to everybody else, because this is
Mhm.
one of it's this is alongside my original home game I first started in, which I've been doing for like 8 years, the best one. I enjoy this the most. We just click and it's fun, and you wouldn't tell that it's your first time at DMing this sort of campaign, Fabled, at all.
I have to concur on that very muchly because I am having been a first time DM. I'm you're leaps and bounds ahead of me. Literally, man, it's the truth.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. I really do. Okay. Moving on to, we'll go through the questions, and if you have a thought or an answer to them, you're welcome to speak up. Otherwise, we'll just move through them fairly quickly. So, in just the general gameplay questions, do you have a favorite moment up to this point, and why, in particular, does that moment appeal to you?
I do, absolutely, and it answers both of number one. It's the moment in confronting Eladin's father, Bertrand Manticore. That scene, and even though everybody else was silent between myself and you, Fabled, was amazing, and I could feel their support behind me, which was really weird. But it flowed. It put me under pressure, which was lovely. It heightens the fun of being able to come up and make it flow like that, and it was just really well done. So thank you to everybody that was involved in that. It's my favorite
Okay.
D&D moment ever since I started playing.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
I go on.
Nope. Go.
I guess I was going to say, I think this kind of this one of the this covers the first part of the question, favorite moment. I think my favorite moment so far was probably the entire lead up of the Feywild, leaving the Feywild, then talking to Eladin about just everything, and then the moment of kind of I don't how our characters interacted uh, during, before, and after the conversation of Atli telling Eladin kind of his reason for fighting for life, I guess you could say, and then also after uh, Eladin um, kind of almost, I don't want to say being knighted because I feel like that sounds very arrogant, but
Yeah, no, that's not
joining,
what. Yeah,
yeah, like because that's wasn't that what it was, but it was like joining
just sort of an
along.
official acknowledgement of that bond.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Knighting wasn't the correct word. I was just trying to think of something that sounded correct, and that came out
yeah.
wrong. Sorry about
I
that.
understand. I understood it. I
Yeah,
got it.
that was probably one of my favorite moments so far because I, as you know, Scott, I wrote probably way too long of a backstory, and I was really excited to use it. But yeah, that's probably my most favorite moment so far. Is really getting to use that and actually digging deep into the role play and getting like emotional with it. It was fun.
Happy? Well, you have an answer to this?
Yeah, I have two. I actually, I'll just say I had the moment where the Hydra, well, not Hydra, the Wyvern.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fun. It was just very quick. Actually, I was also gonna say I really liked the moment where it was the fight against the Drow because Kundalini couldn't really do much by himself, and so he had to rely upon others to do things. But I still got to do things myself, even do things that may have been not as smart to do in terms of strategy, like just letting him attack me or whatever. I don't know. I had a lot of I haven't really had any bad feel moments throughout the combat. Even the last one, like the first round, I got to do the pass without a trace, and everyone got their moment of advantage to deal their surprise attack, and that felt good. I don't know.
For sure.
It's all
Yeah.
been. Yeah. And that's it.
And Mr. Eric Callahan.
You know, I really had two of them, and they were equally for different reasons. One, I'll say 2.5 because one was Eldon pants. The pants made everything wonderful. But no, in all seriousness, I had two of them. One was the opportunity for just pure improv, and those moments where I get to try to have just that out of the door, off of the cuff fun. And the one I'm thinking of is that moment as uh, Callahan and Eldon were coming back into the rookery, and they're back and forth bickering about the fact that Ellen is about to attack Evia with hair with the scissors, trying to get all that crap out of her hair. And they're like, "Oh dear God, are you crazy?" No, that was absolutely hilariously fun. I don't. My group is more of a straight laced get to the point and go to the objective kind of group that I when um my friends get together and we actually get to play. So they RP isn't really a big thing, so I haven't really got to do RP like that since 2008 when I was doing Star Wars roleplay on Second Life. That's how long it's been for me. So my chops are dead. So y'all getting the chance to really have some fun with that has really been great. And then that moment where you literally caught me off guard. In the Fae when it was myself was Callahan and Effia as they're coming through, and Callahan hits that demon infested section. That section looks like what Tyria looks like now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That really caught me off guard and forced me to have to step back and have to think, how would my character react? And because of that, and then it led into the next section where he then saw the sunset, and then led into that whole story of him being able to talk about how he met his wife. And then you've given these opportunities for me to create these tidbits of extra information that I had never even thought about for for the backstory of Callahan and his life prior to what I put on paper. That all because of the environments and the settings that you provided. So that is what would some of the hater parts of me.
Yeah, that's all really cool. I'm glad you really enjoy the role play stuff, because that's a lot of it for me is very ad lib. Like off I don't prepare a lot for what's the word, improvising stuff. Like I don't have a list of things in like the responses I'm going to give. Typically I'll have like one note that tells me how they feel about something specific, and then after that something I really love is when Kundalini has insight checked random. I say random. Maybe they weren't random to you. Just
The
the
guard.
pieces of NPCs that I have to just. I didn't think about that, which it's not necessarily something you'd think I'd think about, but those little stories you build, in that improvisation into those, even if you never see those NPCs again, it's fun to like expound on just the little made up intricacies of characters you run across. So I really appreciate even if you're doing an insight check, 8 times a session, at this point, it hasn't bothered me, and I appreciate all of that. Probably my favorite moment.
Just on the back of that, can I just say I think you are doing really well. Like when I have detect thoughts up, the way you're describing the thoughts of that and what's going on behind their eyes, whatever, is really well done.
Thank you. Favorite moment, for me personally as the DM, into the scene. I think the Oathbreaker Paladin fight, I think, was my favorite scene. There's been a couple times in this campaign as we've gone on where I have a friend, Ben, that Nick knows, and I go to the gym with Ben. And when I'm at the gym, we'll take breaks between sets, and I will, like, in a mumbled, broken way, tell him about, oh, this was the best combat encounter I've ever ran. It was awesome. And then I'll, give him bits and pieces, and I'm not particularly great at explaining stuff, especially when I'm out of breath and my, arms are sore. But it's really cool to be able to share the experiences with people who aren't actively participating. I've also sent Ben the recordings on multiple occasions, and he'll watch. I'll give him like timestamps. Oh, this was awesome! I really enjoyed this part. Can you, watch it and tell me what you think, kind of thing. And so it's really cool to build. Well, to build a story, like it's just.
I've talked to Ben too about it.
Our liaison, our in-betweener.
Yeah.
All right, so on to section 2 there. What is your least favorite part? Were there any moments you found boring or the pacing felt off? What parts did you not enjoy, and how could they be improved? Any thoughts on that?
Mine sounds like a cop-out, but I honestly can't think of anything. I really, really can't, and I've thought over the past week, for me, personally.
I am in the same boat as Kibble. I was really trying to think of a something because I wanted to give constructive feedback, but I really had a hard time thinking of something. I haven't had a problem with it yet personally, but I guess the only thing now, since we just finished, the Feywild, is to not just have too much downtime doing nothing. I don't mind downtime. I don't mind a lot of downtime. I just want the downtime to have, I guess, be something. Again, it hasn't happened it hasn't happened yet, but that's the only thing I can kind of think about as like a preventative measure.
I think that most of the issue is mostly towards us, the players, doing the rules. Like myself included, whenever I do the flurry of blows stuff, I take way too long to actually get it out there. And like just us, it's mostly just a rule stuff. We need to get better at doing the rules so that we can get more towards the role playing. Because honestly, I love the role playing. The role playing is a lot of fun. But
I
I
will
also,
say we are getting better at that. I've noticed there is a huge difference.
well,
I think we understand each other more.
but we could still probably
But-
get better.
Yeah.
I've
Oh
forgotten
yeah.
rules. I've forgotten some rules, and I had to relearn some stuff. But like,
I have
it's
as
just a
well.
matter of us with our time, using our time
Yeah.
better.
Time management. I can understand that. Like, this is my second campaign ever for D&D, so I like, besides my character, I know nothing about how any other character works, or even most of the rules. Like, I even know half the monsters we're fighting, like 90% of the time. So,
And that's fine, but I think you more mean know your own character more, because I've forgotten some things with the warlock which I've had to relearn in the past couple of sessions.
I guess,
So I need
yeah,
to read through my character again. I know I do.
I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say is I
Yeah.
only know what a life cleric is and like what a battle master fighter is and nothing else. And like a few rules here and there, so I know I could definitely use help with more rules too.
But that's what the rest of us are for. So just concentrate on your life cleric
Oh yeah.
before you start thinking about what Effie could do as a bard. Because I mean, we all missed it. She made the mistake of thinking she could only use spells once a day. We'd all missed it.
Yeah, none of us realized.
But before we're thinking about that and noticing that, we need to know our own classes better. Myself as well.
I mean, I actually
Oh yeah.
realized, looking at my stat block as I was making sure my stuff was right for level 7, that I should not have been using disengage.
Mm.
Because I wasn't supposed to get that until level 7. So there we go.
Oh.
Yeah, I figured it was too late.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's something to read through again. I need to double read through it again because, especially because I'm multi-classing into a class that I've not used before. So I need to make double certain I know what I'm doing with mine.
Yeah. Like I
And,
didn't know. Go on.
oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I didn't know my channel divinity could be used to replenish my spell slots, which made me very happy when I found that out.
Yes. Oh, did you not? Yeah.
I didn't know that, and it made me very happy.
Tasha's optional feature.
Not gonna admit happy. I'm kind of hate your face on that one.
It's fine.
For myself, I look at it from the fact of we're all here working together. We have strengths and weaknesses. Maybe me, I have more weaknesses than anybody else. But from the pacing side, I'll give you a good example. Let's take the phasing puzzle that led us into the Feywild.
Yes.
That could have gone very, very badly. But you did it very, very well. And even while I could tell that you were wanting to try to speed it up there towards the later part of the night, you did it in such a way that it did not feel that we lost anything. Or at least to me, it didn't feel like we lost anything. I felt like it was wrapped up succinctly, and we got into the next part, so we were able to move on to ready for the next where we're going to pick up later. But it was challenging. At the same time, it had grit. It made us. It had made us feel uneasy because we were not working together, because we have been used to working as a group, and here we were separated and trying to figure out how to get to each other. So that was a very, very good, good puzzle, and it was to me, it seemed very well paced.
Yeah. I love puzzles in general, and that was a very good one.
Yeah, I haven't come across a puzzle of yours that I have felt I didn't enjoy. We'll put it that way.
Glad to hear that. I do. As far as like my least favorite into boring or off pacing moment. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on my end. While you guys are interacting with things, and even during combat, and thinking about future role play thoughts and the best words to choose, and try to vary my speech. Not use the same adjectives all the time. There's been many times where I physically start sweating. Like I will drip sweat while I'm thinking about this stuff, while you guys are interacting with things, and I'm attempting to come up with something to to continue the story along or move everything. And oftentimes, I feel like I do it in a way that it's not there's nobody's commented on it. It's not like a noticeable thing. Like it feels really noticeable to me because I'm here. Maybe I'm jotting something down, and the sweat drips off my forehead and leaves a spot on the page. But it doesn't. It seems to not translate into how things are going in game, which I think is really great. In it hasn't happened in a while. I will say there was the biggest point. I think when I like was so worked up about it was probably. Oh man. Well, the only one that immediately comes to mind but was the skeleton ship. Like the entire time that was going on, I was in a cold sweat. But it was also the biggest encounter I'd ever ran up to that point. I'd only done really small stuff, and it was early in our campaign. I didn't know you guys as players.
And then, amazingly, somebody opened up all 3 levels of the ship at the same time, which really put more weight on you. So you did that. It was really well handled. I didn't notice anything. So
Yeah, I didn't realize you were having that intense time. Sorry about that.
No. It's not. It's nothing on you guys. It's all It's a growing thing.
I'm not apologising that thinking that we caused it, but sorry that that's something that you went through.
Okay.
I
Yes.
understand feeling like that, and I'm sorry that that's something that happened.
Hmm. Yeah, it
But
hasn't.
okay, absolutely not noticed. And the couple of times I've noticed, a bit of a gap, I understand you are jotting things down, so I've tried to fill it in other ways at other times, or I patiently wait. It's not ever been an issue that I've felt needed to be brought up at all.
That's good. That's good. That's great. All
Yeah,
right.
and you kind of have to. I always look at the fact you kind of have to expect to give a second for the DM to kind of catch up. We're throwing tons of stuff at you, whether it's stuff that we're RPing, whether it's in tidbits that you're wanting to cast that maybe lore stuff that you can use later on for or against us, whether it's stuff that you think about that you maybe want to gives you ideas for things you want to try to use in encounters later, or whatever it is that may come out of other stuff that we've come up with and that we're going to try to do. We've thought about whatever it is. It could be you have got to give you chance to catch up and come back in and say, hey, I'm all right. Let's go back in.
Yeah, because we're all dealing with one character and their actions. You're dealing
Yeah.
with all of our characters plus all of your characters and their actions.
Yeah, it's, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's 5 people, 5 minds working against one mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any time you need to take to write stuff down or jot is never an issue for me at all, ever.
Doesn't bother me at all either.
Including
Honestly,
if we do something so changing, we're half an hour into the session and you go, I need to stop because I need to write this down and figure this out. Again, I expect that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, even if you literally want to say, "Hey, can we take a 5-minute bathroom break so I can write stuff down?" I think you should do that if you want to as well. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
That is part of the game that I come to expect, and if it's needed, it's never been an issue. And it's possible I should have made that clearer that it's okay for that to happen.
You're a human, not a robot, so you
Yeah.
need a.
I may take you up on that 5-minute bathroom break.
Oh, I'm serious.
I may take you up
Yeah,
on that.
serious. Yeah. I think it'd be great. It'll also give everyone kind of like
a bit of a
it'll give
breather.
everyone a chance to think too.
Yeah, because other
we also-
people, I am aware that I'm a bit of a faster thinker and more experienced with the role play, so I'm I don't want to put extra pressure on other people thinking of what to say. If they need a break as well, that's all completely okay.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Number 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mhm.
And if you have something else, you're welcome to share.
No, I was just going over that again. Yeah, it's good that this has come up. This is great.
We wonder what goes through your mind, because while we're over here wondering what's going through ours, a lot of times as players, we forget that you're busting your ass over there coming up with
Yeah.
with the the
Everything.
ideas for the adventures, and and also obviously for the campaign itself, not necessarily for the story itself, but for the adventures that create go into the campaign, and also then all the encounters and all the NPCs and all the monsters. And then we just have to show up and and go hi.
I mean, I've said it before, and I will say it again. Spoilers or not, if you ever need to get in touch with me about something coming up or an idea that you've got or anything, that's all okay as well.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Also,
Just don't give me the general idea. Try and give me a general idea as opposed to exact details, and yeah, I'll give all the input you need or want or could do with.
And also, let's just go back to my mention. We need to put in as much effort as Fable does in actually
Hmm.
DMing in terms of
hmm
us doing our roles.
Yeah.
hmm
Because,
like even
yeah.
even on that, if you want to like talk to either me or I guess anyone else here in that for that matter individually about our characters, I have so many things I can tell you about it if you want it for, you know, content for it if you're needing help with that. And I'm sure everyone else has a whole bunch of ideas they want for their character too that we can kind of share with you if you're ever kind of running dry on what you want to do or kind of
Yeah.
not sure what you want to do next.
Because again, unlike you, we've only got one character to think about all this time and think about ideas for and come up with scenarios for. You've got several, so we'll have
We're, we're
far
down to
more
help.
ideas that are
We're
specific to our characters.
yeah. We have the ability to help.
I say I
And
did a little bit with my patron thing for you. I'm happy to do things like that at any point for anybody's characters as well, as long as they're okay with me knowing whatever I need to know for it.
yeah, and having like I don't again I'm not trying to put more work on your plate by saying have individual sessions with us, each talking about it, even if it's just in like text messages. When you and if we I'll give say hey we want to do X for our character, someone else may say Y, and someone else says Z. Maybe some of those things line up, and you can kind of work them in together to make it
Merge them
really
together, yeah.
interesting. Yeah, something that both of us or the two characters or three characters or all the characters won't even imagined because you have kind of that god's eye view over everything.
Yeah, I think it comes down to put more on us. Although we are here to, as players, and not controlling the world, we're not just here to take from you and enjoy it like a video game. We're here to help you build this story,
Mm,
which is where I personally feel, and I've tried with other DMs as well, and it just sinks into them telling a story, and we're just there to enjoy it. But that's not how it's supposed to work. Put more weight on us, give us more work to do.
Oh, that's
and honestly I won't lie, it feels really good having your background or related things mentioned. It makes
Yeah.
the world fare more alive too, and just very fun. And that's for everyone. Like Cable's backstory, and then Eldon's backstory, then Outley having relation with the Feywild story,
Mm.
and everyone having their own little almost mini arcs. I think is really fun.
Yeah, and I mean, we're saying I'm enjoying finding other people's bits out as much as my own.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like who is Eldon? Who is Callahan? Who
Yeah, definitely more on
who is
Callahan to find
Kimberly?
out.
Fable, do you want to move on to the next question, or
Yes, sorry, if you do, please go ahead.
All
You're
right,
all right.
I talk
I
way too much. You can just tell me to shut up.
no, 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 no? I just wanted to make sure that it fit within Fabled's timeline.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
And this is part of the reason we have to do it in voice, and I can't write it because would just go on and on and on. So
no, I really I do appreciate the offers, and I will see what. So the next, I guess, well, I'll talk about that. I can mention it here. I have to do. So I have a couple overarching grand scheme ideas. Also, I really need to figure out a. I think I need to talk to Gables some more and get a real end game idea, because I watched a lot. Working backwards is a really great way to set up your end goal of a campaign. So I need to solidify, or at least get a much better idea on what the end portion, whether that's a boss encounter, or the monarch dying and the coronation, or a transition to a democratic republic, or all of that stuff. And some of that is so big story wise that I'm not in control of it at this point, so I'll have to. I know Gables has been out of this for a long time, but it's still his world, so I got to run that by him. But yeah, let's move on to 3 then. What did you think about the balance between role play and combat, just on a scene level? So not necessarily a session to session, because I know we've had. There was weeks in a row where we would have role play the entire time. It was most of the time, I think, shoved into the same scene. It just extended into multiple days. But I think the same thing has happened with combat. So I'm just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on the balance.
I think if there's any issue with the balance between roleplay and combat, it's due to the players and our ability to manage time. Because otherwise, I love the roleplay bits, and I love the amount of time between us role playing, and it feels natural. And I like the combat; it feels fun. It can be challenging a bit. I don't feel like I'm outmaneuvered or outpowered or like everything feels good. It's just a matter of time management.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we're pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good in USDM on balancing combat and roleplay. I absolutely love both. So I'm always up for more combat, but I'm always up for also really more engaging RP too. So sorry, excuse me. Oh, chicken was fighting back.
Put it in a headlock.
Yeah, really.
Like the RP is very good and has good pacing. It's just time management of combat so that we can get back to RP.
I will say this, based off of Happy's comment there. I do think once we get more efficient at combat by knowing our characters and rules and stuff more, I think it might end up leaning a bit too much towards uh towards role play as we become more efficient at everything and know exactly what we want to do on our turns and stuff.
yeah,
So when that
I think
happens,
it's something to watch. At the moment, I'm
yeah,
happy with it.
yeah,
But
I think when that happens, definitely.
if we start getting more efficient, it could be an issue. But
I
also on the other side of that, the more we level up, turns will start to get more complicated anyway. So it might balance out with something just to keep an eye on, I think, rather than aiming at anything at the moment.
Yeah, and like I'm sure someone I don't know how long you've been playing D&D for, Happy, but I know Kibble and Ven have done this a lot. Um, Combat, I feel, also doesn't just have to be I swing my sword or I cast fireball. I feel like you can have like social combats too, which I think could be really, really interesting if you add something like that in. Mm, I have no clue how that would work. Whether it's like a series of rolls for success and failures for what's ever happening, or it's almost like a combat in of itself with words. I don't know how you want to do that. but I feel like
They
nobody
can
wants
kind
to
of like
stick with the
the Ring Command, like from the Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander 4. Discuss choice options
yeah,
things,
like
or like an intrigue and political intrigue and stuff like that.
you know
Um,
the old
or
Oblivion how you had like
yeah,
combat dialogues to pass things and it went certain ways.
yeah, either works or it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know if that I would even count that a combat at that point, but I feel like quote unquote combat doesn't just have to be physical
Violence.
murderizing. Yeah, violence.
Right.
So, are you talking more sort of like skill stat challenges? It's like combat but extended.
Yeah,
So you add things in, but it's over a 10-minute period. This combat, as opposed to every round is 6 seconds, etc., etc.
it's like let's say going back to the dinner party where the monocle was that we were taking. Like maybe the quote unquote social combat could be I don't know talking to various people there and having to do multiple roles to figure stuff out. Instead
Like
of
an
swinging at them, you use
That's
verbal.
kind.
Mhm.
Isn't that kind of like what we did with it was at what is
The
the
house.
party. Yeah, the house where we were dealing with juggling between y'all trying to get the board and all the
Yeah,
secret
yeah.
material, while Miss Mensch,
Was distracting
Kundalini,
downstairs with
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
little sprite. Yeah.
Yeah, like stuff like that I find really fun too. And like that could be a mix of it could even be a mix with combat involved in it too. I just think we
Honestly,
don't want to keep.
if I had to think back as like what is my actual favorite moment, that is my favorite like sequence of events.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
as far because that for me is a combat. As far as favorite combat, that one has been my favorite combat,
yeah.
definitely.
Like I love stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
again like I love combat too, but I feel like that's almost an entire category that besides combat and RP that I would like to
Also,
have like a trio or three-way with or whatever you want to call it.
but now that I'm also thinking about that, the big party with the masks and stuff, that was also really good.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I can't make my mind up about which
yeah.
one I like.
I
The
think I think it's a
infiltration of
good thing.
my estate is my favorite combat, and I class it as combat, even though there was no attacking people or anything. That for me, it was a combat.
hmm It was so much fun. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was
And
very
that's like,
fun.
yeah.
Go on, sorry.
And that's like it's a meeting between two worlds of roleplay and
hmm
Mhm.
combat. Sorry.
It's this is gonna sound weird, but it's almost like live role play, if that makes sense.
It's almost like improv.
Yeah, that's kind of like
Like you're
it's like screw it, we'll do it live,
like
almost kind of role
like
play
you're
instead of
Whose
like you're in
line is it
an escape
anyway?
room. Whose line is it there?
It,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, if I could suggest a couple of things, and I hate to do this, but it's all I've watched regarding live play online. There's a couple of things that I could suggest from that Matthew Mercer does for skill challenges, and he's done a couple of heist combats
Mm.
that you could watch for ideas.
Yes, I definitely see. I haven't watched the video for it, but I've definitely seen it in like the title or something.
But he hello, somebody joined.
Silver's here.
Who was here? Sorry,
I'm
I had the Discord muted. But yeah, his skill challenges. The best example for it for me are his resurrection skill challenges, and there's a lot of those. So if you just Google that, a clip will come up of it.
But that's
And
Matthew
but
Mercer.
no, I know, but these are the only examples of you can get some ideas. But then he's also done a heist combat. where turns take like a couple of minutes here and a couple of minutes there, but the aim is not to kill things; it's to retrieve this before an enemy party or things like that, which I think might interest Atlee and Holy and for things like that. And like I say, this is not me bigging up Matthew Mercer. This is just saying there might be some ideas in there you can take away from.
Yeah, I will for sure look into it. I like the idea of the combined nature.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun.
All right. Silver, are you here?
I'm still awake.
All right. Would you I think would you mind sharing with us a little bit, just to catch you up with the rest of the group here? Is that okay if I ask you a couple questions?
That's fine. I'm sorry, everybody. My brain
All
couldn't
good.
stay awake any
No
longer.
worries.
It's all good. So I was just wondering what your favorite moments from the campaign up to this point were, why those were your favorite moments, and what scene to go along with those moments, or even a completely separate scene, was just the most fun to play.
Does it have to be from the Fae one, or can it be
the entire thing.
I really liked. This is so long ago. When Kibble, you had cast. We were fighting something. I don't remember. Those little people when we were looking for that one guy, and you cast this darkness spell, and then we all had to fight around that. I just had a lot of fun during that fight. I thought it was really fun. I thought we were all like kind of gelling very well, and I just thought it was. I don't know. I just liked it. I liked the different level of combat. I don't know. It was just not Luna Boone, get off my leg. I don't know. I think everybody kind of fought well together. I thought it was interesting to hear everybody plans, even though my brain has only slightly gotten better at working with magical characters. I thought that was fun. I know this is biased, but I also still liked when me and Ellen managed to drown those people at the beginning of the campaign.
Yep, I
don't
kind
know.
of figured that would come up.
Yeah.
It was just a really good moment.
I agree.
I like drowning people.
Don't clip that out of context.
No, please.
Oh, I like drowning people in games. I feel like drowning people in real life is a little harder. You gotta hold them down. They might crash. I don't know. I'm just saying. And I did like I guess if I'm picking something from the Fae, I really liked the beginning when we first got trapped in there, because I do like a good mystery. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And on the opposite end of the scale, do you have a least favorite part? Were there moments you found boring or the pacing felt off? And are there any parts you didn't enjoy? And how do you think they could be improved if there was something you didn't enjoy?
A least favorite part.
You're not required
when
to have
I
an answer to
died
it.
for the first time, that was my least favorite part. It wasn't because you did anything. I just died. So, that sucked. But I didn't fully die. So
I was going to say, you haven't actually died yet. We haven't
I didn't
actually
fully
killed
die
you yet.
I just, it was getting a little stressful with those death rolls for a second.
Death
I'll
is
add
quite
that
a bummer.
actually. I will add that in as well. When I was unconscious and on 2 failed death saves, that's my least favorite part of the campaign so far.
Right, like
Yeah.
that was my least favorite part.
The threat of building a new character.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Oh,
it.
I mean, like I played around with it, but like the actual building of it, that stressed me out.
War.
I'm trying to think of like another least favorite. Oh, the fact I haven't seen I forgot
Mort?
their name. The
Mort?
girl.
Terrell.
Oh.
Who?
Oh, which
Yeah.
girl?
No. Ew, no one cares about Terrell.
Was
Hi,
it
Bella?
the elf girl?
Yeah, the
Bella.
one who like showed up and then vanished again, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cool.
Didn't Tybella want to go back to her homeland? Wasn't that what she was doing?
No, not her. I don't care about Tabella.
No.
No, like when we were
The thief.
fighting.
Yeah, her.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the other
She's
thief.
Silver's not on roll 20. The Black Viper.
Mhm.
Yes, that's it.
I was
That's it.
I was reading your character sheet the other day, and I was looking at your notes, and you have a mention of the Black Viper in there.
Right. I just that's my least favorite part. There you go. Those are my
Oh,
least favorite.
she's probably a returning character. I think I can do something with her.
Right. Wife material. That's it.
All
Those are my least favorite parts. The fact
right.
that I haven't seen my wife, the dying. Oh my god. Oh, that's the water bottle. I'm good.
And what did you think about the balance between role play and combat, just as the game has gone on?
I like it. It's not too much combat where I get kind of bored, and it's like not too much role play where my brain's like, oh no, I have to remember something. So it's good. Plus, I found a new what's it called? Pen thing on my iPad, so I can take cuter notes. So I really appreciate that.
We have been mentioning that we all think we all need to take a little bit more time to learn our characters a bit better and see if there's anything we've missed or need to brush up on.
Yeah, that part, that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just used to like having to like keep people alive and
Bunga
not
bunga.
killing them. This is new.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we're all still learning. We're just going to have to improve over time. But we need to put a bit more work into, say, rereading character sheets.
Our rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, wait. I have another favorite moment.
Sure.
When I figured out that I could use a spell more than once. That was great. That was fantastic. I was like, wow.
That's a recent one.
Right.
Hon-
Exactly.
Honestly, such a cool idea to not repeat spells.
That's what I thought that's what we had to do. And I was like, oh my God, this is stressful. I don't know how people survived the campaigns to level like
There were
12.
versions of D&D where if you wanted to cast 3
You
firebolts
had
in
to
a day,
prepare
you had to
them.
prepare 3 firebolts.
Right.
And if you
That's
decided
weird.
half of the day you wanted to change, you couldn't. So,
Oh wow.
mhm.
That
That's
sounds
the level
intense.
of D&D that I was playing, and it was stressful.
Yeah, yeah. I can only
That-
imagine.
That's
That
too
brings
intense.
back some bad memories.
All right. Moving into some more character focused questions here. How do you feel your character has developed, if at all? What moment up till this point do you think has defined your character? What moment have we had that just screams, "Oh, this was Ifia, this was Atli, this was Eladin, this was Kundali, this was Callahan. This is them in a nutshell, or at least one aspect of their character." Do you regret anything your character has done or didn't do up to this point? And then we'll do another series because that's a lot to answer there. We'll do another.
Let's see. I think one thing that I don't want to say like a defining moment, but like a certain characteristic of Atli was when we were fighting the group of people at the guy's house where the wyvern was. That Atli just like was was as his HP bar was just going rapidly up and down from like 10 HP to like 40 HP because he just kept healing himself by just taking everyone's damage. And I feel like that was like the quintessence of what Atli wants to do is to not let anyone die by just absorbing everything. And that was
Sorry
very
about
fun.
the thorns.
All right. So DM makes note: kill players when Atli isn't around.
Atli will have like an existential crisis that happens. I think I don't know if it was like a moment, but just like I guess me more as a player playing Atli as someone who heals and not someone who damages. because I'm so used to just rolling to damage, not rolling to heal. Um, but besides that, any other defining moments? Um, I mean, I guess when another defining moment was when I ultimately went to I think in the Feywild when Atli kind of just hopped right on board with almost like a senior type, senpai type figure with Brathadar kind of just immediately getting along with him because he was also like a paladin slash whatever you had him as for the religion, and then still choosing to follow through and hand over um, the uh, the
Manuscript.
book,
Yeah, the book.
the manuscript to Aletheus. I think for what was the other question? Development and worries or regrets.
Yeah, what's something you regret your character did or didn't do? I should say, do you have? If you don't have any, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. As for development, I think he's developing pretty well. One thing I want to ask, I guess this is probably more towards Kibble right now because he was one of the interaction. Did I like background drop too much when I was talking to you? I don't know if I did or not. That's what I was
Not,
kind of worried about.
not for me at all. No.
Okay, because I haven't really been in a campaign that has actual good roleplay like this.
No, that for me was you were opening up to Eladon, and Eladon, that has changed things for Eladon. It's great. It's great, really
Okay,
is.
I just wanted to make sure it almost wasn't like an in-character trauma dump on your character. That it
I
wasn't a
think
regret. It was just curious. I didn't know if I said too
I
much.
think it kind of was an in-character trauma dump, but it made
Actually,
sense. That was a
Loki
big
thought it
thing. We'd
was.
just something we'd just been through. And
Yeah.
Eladon was trauma dumping on you at the same time by
There we go. Do it
catching
together.
himself, and it was yeah, it worked. It really did.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that wasn't too much because I'm still trying to figure out the balance of speak too much or speaking too little.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, any other? I don't really think I have any other regrets. Honestly, or I guess that's not a regret because you said it was fine, so that's no regret at all. And I think Atli's uh, generally developing well. I think especially now that was more of like a defining moment for his and Eladin's friendship. And whenever it happens with the other PCs, when I interact with them and I share with them, I'm sure I'll have, or I'm hoping I can have touching moments with each character. Period. I finished talking. I think.
I'll go next.
Yep.
Because I think I'll be quick. How do you feel about your character developed? I don't think they developed, but I prefer it that way. What moment defined your character in this arc? I think the moment that defined the character was maybe the moment with Miss Mentia at that museum and supporting her to do. Honestly, what a thing that's something that I like, but something I regret my character did or didn't do was Kundali messing, not messing, but Kundali giving resistance to what I'm so bad at names. Giving 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 resistance to Atli giving the book to the god. Because honestly, now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't think Kundali would do that because Kundali's is like go with the flow. If there's consequences, let the consequences be. That's just the natural.
There
That's how
was some happy leaking into your
it
Kundali.
was happy. It was happy wanting to cause I wanted to have a little bit of conflict. I'm gonna be entirely honest. That was me kind of wanting to be funny because if I'm gonna be honest about who I am, happy, I like to be funny. Yeah, I like doing funny things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why I like doing crazy shit like the the jumping up to the wyvern and grappling it and having it
Yeah.
fall, that kind of stuff. I like goofy shit. But I'm gonna be honest, that was probably an out of character moment for Kundali. There's probably several other out of character moments where Happy is bleeding through into the character.
It happens to everybody. You can't separate it off completely.
Yeah. That's why I like playing chaotic neutral characters usually, because I get to do it's not really I get to do whatever I want. I just get to be I
You?
get to have fun. Yeah, I get to
Yeah.
be me.
That's always fun.
But I'll be sure to not let that kind of shit happen later because I don't want to. I want Kundali to be goes with the flow. Everything is meant to happen. There's a grand scheme happening before us. What do I want for the character in the next section? I want to stay mysterious and unanswered, and I want people to be like, "What the fuck is he doing? Why is he
Damn
doing these
you,
things?"
you irritating shit, Happy.
Because I like Eladin thinking stuff like, why, what's the, why?
What is his brain?
Yeah.
What is that brain?
Mm-hmm. Is there anything about a character's background to consider future stories? Kundali? Is this OC kind of thing, or should I tell
I
everyone
asked that
this,
question
or
too.
ask in Fable?
Oh, if you feel it makes sense, like if there comes a point where it becomes more relevant. So, like you said, Kundali's here for, he's here for the group, to move through the, existence and just see what happens. If there comes a point where that is in question, I think that would not be the quintessential instance of where maybe Kundali would share more information with the group. Like if there was like an imminent doom or something like that. But
Okay, Kundali isn't that important.
Yes, you is.
I can't let
But
you
Yes,
die.
you are.
I'll leave that question unanswered. And then, how do you see your character's immediate future? I see it. I don't see it.
it's there, but you're not looking. You're living in the moment.
Yeah, that's the end of mine. End of turn.
End of turn. Forgot about those last two questions.
Well, I didn't put them forth. That's all right.
Oh,
Happy wanted to be thorough.
Oh,
Thorough's fun.
Yeah, we're doing the future bit next.
I didn't even answer them.
Well, he'll ask it again after this.
And Happy will have the same answer. All right, Eric.
Or will I?
Maybe he'll change it. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so like, what was my biggest regret?
Yeah. Character development, regrets of did or didn't do. Is there a defining moment, do you think?
Development wise, there's some things I've seen with him. He's kind of on the fence in some ways. When you saw him at the very beginning, he was drunk off his, coming off a hangover and broke. And now he's with a group. He's um, got focus towards a path. He seems to be making some friends, but he's working towards towards a goal. But what about his original goal? How's that going to affect him? He's supposed to be trying to find his son and his wife and son, and find out about what happened to his father, and everything that was driving him to the point of almost insanity into and so what does that mean for him?
That's a really good
So
thought. Like, yeah, if that I'm
what?
just throwing it out there, if a clue of some sort were to surface related to that backstory hook, what do you have to think about that? What is Callahan's, what's his immediate reaction followed by what's his planned reaction after the impulse?
Right.
Like maybe that's, and to go with that, what's the rest of the group's reaction into that, assuming if and when that comes up.
Yeah, there was, I had the for um for my regret, character wise, the character is I feel like the character is going better than I could have hoped. Player wise, I think my biggest regret is probably the fact that I know there are some times where I've tried to make the the most out of a moment, and it didn't. It fell flat. But I saw a moment, and it just didn't. It didn't hit right the way I wanted it to. Yeah, if I something sounded good in my head, and when it came out of my mouth, it sounded like I went with. This sounds like a good thing to say. And I'm going to say this right now. That just didn't come out right, and I sounded like I was from the hick from Crockett, Texas, that I actually am. So that really comes into play. That's my regret, is when I've missed those moments. And I've tried too hard instead of just letting it happen. Because I want to be able to, I'm here to have fun, but I also want to make sure that I'm not bringing down the rest of the group. And sometimes I let myself get too far into that point. Because y'all are awesome at what y'all do. And
I don't think any of us feel at any point that you're bringing us down.
so
I never thought that myself. I can tell
Although
you
at the
that.
same time,
Yeah.
I relate to the idea of feeling like I'm worried about bringing down the whole group.
Oh, I can understand that completely myself too.
Which, in that case, I'm starting to like. Do I think he's no?
I feel like it's an insecurity all of us can really relate to that, because I know I felt that same way too.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about? I'm fantastic. I do this game perfectly.
Screw all y'all. I'm good.
Speaking of
yeah,
FT,
yeah.
Oh no, I was joking. You keep finishing your thought process.
So honestly, that's really where it is, and I do. You were talking about that, the idea of how would I go with situations like that if I started seeing more breadcrumbs coming in from my story. I actually put in some information that kind of like about that in my thing about that. If I
yes,
did see things
yeah,
like that.
I'll read that later. Then, yeah.
I don't know. It 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 would depend on how the character comes out. It's kind of like when I described the scenes. It just kind of comes out in the moment. How my character is. That whole thing I did, that whole monologue I did describing that first hunt, was absolutely completely ad libbed. I don't know where I pulled that out of my ass. So it all depends.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
Alrighty. Silver, any thoughts on character development? particularly defining moment or anything you may regret as a did or didn't do?
Um, well, Afia was supposed to be more calm and collected, but the chaos gremlin in me was unleashed, and now it can't go back in the hole. So y'all are stuck with this wild version of Afia who plays like a 20-something-year-old versus the 30-something-year-old they're supposed to be. I regret nothing. You all are trapped with them. So not what's that saying? You're not trapped with me, or
You're not
I'm not
trapped.
trapped with you.
I'm
You're
not.
trapped with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what y'all are having to deal with. Um, a regret. Uh, yeah. I think that's my biggest regret. Like, Afia was supposed to be very calm, collected. You could probably throw them at a party, and they'd be like, "Yeah, this is fine. I'm never gonna stress out." And then I realized that I really like daggers and causing problems for random
It's
people.
character development, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, um, I think the Afia's like biggest moments are finding the mask, and I think the most recent like development for them is like realizing like yeah they could die and they probably be okay with that, but like losing the party and being possibly trapped in another dimension with Jess Swinton was like a little more panic inducing than I thought it would be for Afia and me. So there's
Hey,
that.
but it
Take
it
it.
is Swinton though.
Yeah, I was waiting until I was like, "Oh, no, I'm gonna have to keep this dog and me alive." If he doesn't know enough about dogs, Prince is probably gonna die from heartbreak. Uh, and then I'll be trapped with weird Brathidar and other Brathidar and tiny Fey people who get lost, who possibly almost die because they lost a helmet size
Dum Dimmadome.
protection
Uh,
So so that's where Fia's coming from. I don't know. I forgot the other questions. My brain shut down.
we'll go back over the future related ones here in a minute.
Yeah.
And Kibble, what's your thoughts on character development, a defining moment in the arc, and possible regret?
I don't particularly regret anything so far about Eladon or what he's done. Eladon does. I don't. His defining moment of the arc, or since the beginning, was him being disowned.
For sure.
And he's now floundering. Is the only way I can put it. I'm looking for things to hook onto. Hence his oath ordeal, or grasping onto trying to find something about his pact. But that's about it. He's more lost, I think, than anything else.
Cool. All right. Moving on to the future related questions there then. What do you want? Is there anything in particular you want for your character in the future? As we move on. Is there anything in your character's background that you would consider to see in a story specifically? And how do you see the character's immediate future following the events of the last couple days where you were stuck in the Feywild and moving on? We already heard from Happy, unless he has more to add.
I expect nothing.
Expects nothing. All right. We'll go with Silver. Can you go first this time?
Yeah. I gotta mail letters out to the family. Because I think if he is really gonna start missing them a little bit. Along with all the toys that they bought. Oh man, I forgot. I really want to see Spider Oh, not Spider.
Spider
What's his
Pig?
the fun toy man and the clothing
Oh,
guy.
Oh, the
Oh.
Waffle.
Mr. Tinkerton,
Mhm.
Mr. Tinkerton.
and then I think
I
it's Lester, who's the blind cat.
Yeah,
I
Lester's
want
my
to see
tailor.
that.
Oh no, the deaf cat.
Yes, he's the deaf
I
cat.
want to.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to see them again. I see Terrell all the time. If one of the posters don't work out, we'll just end there for it. It's fine. But I want to see them again. Oh man, I forgot the question because Mr. Tinkerton showed up in my brain space. Um.
So
Um.
background related to future stories
Oh
and
yeah.
that's about.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to. I feel it's going to be focused on like making sure sending more things back to family, and then whatever they can do to get away with destroying the Empire's hold on their
Mm-hmm.
home. I think that Afia might be like looking for more clues regarding that. Um, and I completely blame Melodin for that since we chatted about destroying supply lines and things like that
For
out
sure.
of picture once. And I think
That
that would be a goal.
yeah.
Should
Also,
That
apologizing to Kundali for accidentally killing that person in front of them in their arms. I feel like I didn't apologize enough for that. Sorry about that, Kundali.
all right. Holy, what do you think about future Atlee?
So what I want him to do and stuff, or like, are you like asking like what kind of things you want me to say exactly?
Well, you're not required to say anything. Is it
I want
anything,
to say
you have is there anything in Atlee's background that you particularly want to explore? I know we've touched, this little arc, Feywild arc had a bit. I wasn't sure how it was going to end. I had talked, with Ben about the possibility of you actually disowning this particular deity. That didn't end up happening. That was my biggest preparation was actually on if that happened. um, yeah, like what's your immediate movements? Like you have something you're pursuing currently back in the real world?
Um, so I guess like a few points would be, um, as you know, as you and now Eldon knows, the destruction of my village was caused by chromatic dragons. So I guess an overarching thing would be finding that specific group of chromatic dragons, um, which I know is probably much higher level than we are right now because they're little dragons. Um, and there's multiple of them because there's a horde of dragons that attacked my town. Um, besides that, um, I guess a few bullet points similar to what Effie was saying was Atlee's parents are still alive. So maybe what are they doing right now? Um, did they stopped in that town specifically because they wanted to raise Atlee there? Did they go back to traveling merchandising? Do they have another kid? Did something else happen with them or the village? Um, let's see, future stuff. Um, something that Atlee will probably be trying to look more towards into in the more now and later in the future too is almost now that he has quite literally had physical contact with one of the minor deities, he's probably going to be thinking, did his role in the church change? Will people come to see him now? Will he have to do more things? Will he have more responsibility? Having had direct impact, will others have found out that he had direct contact? Maybe things along those lines, and that would be interesting. I think. What obligations that may come from what just happened and the outcome of that. And one thing that's completely off that topic, but also could be happening in the future, something that you could maybe do, is because of Atlee's almost opposite personality hate towards chromatic dragons, what would happen if he interacts with a chromatic dragonborn? Would he hate them as much as the dragons that attacked his town? Is he able to separate those feelings from the specific group that attacked his town? Or is he not able to, and he refuses to speak to them? Like, I don't know. Just interactions like that, I think, would also be very interesting. I feel like seeing um, the deity would definitely bring back a lot of past trauma, as we quite literally has just saw with him interacting with Elodin again. And what will he do with that now, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I really like the thought. And I hadn't really considered it. The mention you did of other members of your sect. If word gets out about contact with the deity, if that's like a pilgrimage worthy thing, I think that's a really neat idea. I'm definitely jotting that down.
Yeah, like, and it could even be like, does he now have some sort of requirement that he has to go somewhere? Like, there could be so many implications off that. I can't even think of them all right now, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
All right.
Yeah, and I also want to see if Atlee's low-key racist towards chromatic dragonborns.
Yep. All right.
This party is so problematic.
People
Like,
have
what
to
the
have
hell?
flaws, right? People have to have
Some of
flaws.
y'all, and then some of y'all were like, "Yeah, we have one non-human," pointing at me. Like, I'm human.
All right. Kibble.
Yes. I mean, at the forefront of Eladin's mind is just making sure that he's foiled his father's attempt to take the throne.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like an immediate close of what we were in the middle of before we took a trip to the Feywild. But his aim really is what it always has been. It's to figure out what's going on with his pact.
Yeah, for sure.
Two things to consider in that: if he gets that, if there's nothing pushing for anywhere else or nothing, an emergency comes up, would be to contact first his professor, who was called. I forgot who invited him. That was it. The Dean of Shadows. It was Ambrose Liu at the Strixhaven Academy.
Mm-hmm.
To see if he'd found out anything else. And also see if you can track down Baylock Tiff from my backstory.
Yes. Yep.
And see if that yielded any more leads on that. That's pretty much everything for his future. That's all he's got in his head. He wants to figure out what's going on. It's just the thing with his father got in between, and he had to deal with that first.
Alrighty. Happy already gave the answers here, so Mr. Eric.
All right, for Cal, he's really, like I said, he's really trying to find ways to distract himself. Now, he's focused right now, but for future, obviously his main thing obviously being trying to find his family, but there's always that lurking in his mind, what happened to his father, because he never knew what happened to his dad. He went missing, and when he went his last time he went off to battle. So they don't even know what happened to. They couldn't find him. They couldn't find he couldn't even find his weapon, his bow, which was an elven longbow. But at the same time, he doesn't even think about his family. The rest of his family. Does he have? Which I haven't even thought about that. What about his? Does he have any other family who are still alive? Mother, siblings. Does he contact them? What does that mean to him? Has he even considered? Thought during the whole time when he's been drunken while also trying to go around trying to find breadcrumbs to find his wife and son. Has he even thought about trying to contact them? Is there any, what about that? He talks about family, but what is family to him anymore? Is 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 there a place for him in his mind, in future in mind? Is he going to be able to figure out what it means to be in a family anymore again? And what happens to him if someone in this quote family, something happens to someone, this what he's this quote family that he's surrounded himself with now, um, how will he react as well? Because he's now thrown his lot in, and he's become very, very attached to many of them, and has become to respect them, and wants to know them, know more about them, wants to, understand them. Uh, he especially wants to know more about the future. He wants to learn more about Eladin and get to understand Eladin because he can see a lot of himself, a younger, much more volatile bit of himself as well in Eladin in some ways. But at the same time, um, and does because he's having been under a very demanding, very perfectionist style of father. Obviously, in his case was a very from a military family, but not exactly the same, obviously, but still there are some similarities there. So he wants to understand and see. He kind of feels a kinship, even if he hasn't had a chance to really open to him, and sit down as much as he would like. In fact, the last time that's where when Kibble came to his room and they sat and talked, that left a very big impression on Callahan because it showed something had changed, and as if in to him, and made Callahan want to maybe drop his own walls a little bit. So that's where he's looking.
Alrighty. This one, number 5 here. What was your favorite moment for each of the other characters? I know that could probably be pretty long-winded, but just if you have one that just comes to mind, which relationships within the party are you have been interesting to explore and maybe more interesting in the future? I know Eric there mentioned a bit about there's been several of you have mentioned the relationships between characters. So if maybe if there's anything else to add to that, if there isn't, that's fine. And we will leave. Well, I guess, do you have any guesses or statements about remaining mysteries? Which I'm not sure there's really anything specific other than
I have one.
Okay, we'll go from the bottom to the top then. From back to you, Callahan.
Will Eldon get the matching shirt to go with the pants?
No.
Back to the Feywild we go.
I almost imagine like one of those Hawaii floral shirts.
All
Where the
right.
flowers like wriggling alive.
So I guess the real question here, other than the mysteries thing, is do you have a favorite moment for each of the other characters?
I actually do. Mine, first off, for Eldon, definitely the hair cutting session, discussion. That was freaking fantastic. Kundalini, the debates that he and I have had on whether or not to kill, and the fact of Kundalini standing his ground, that caused Callahan to have immense respect for him. Effia, the discussion between the two of them as he and Effia were exiting the tinker shop just after we got the masks, after she got the masks.
Oh.
That moment and of vulnerability for both of them was powerful for me. And Atlee, honestly, even though it was very brief, it was a very brief moment. Just the simplicity of it was that conversation that Gesundheit. Um, the that conversation that Atlee and Callahan had there at the end before they went and got drinks.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun interaction between our two characters. That was a really good one.
All right. Happy thoughts on favorite moments or any guesses about mysteries?
Okay, favorite moments with. Okay, I'll start from the top. Miss Mencha. There's a lot of fun. I like the relationship between Kundalini and Miss Mencha, but like a fun moment I liked was, remember like when everyone was eating and like everyone had their own little personal orders and Kundalini was just kind of sharing meals with Miss Mencha, like, or
Bonding.
actually, or maybe the maybe the shopping stuff that was fun.
Love shopping. You're the best to shop with. I'm just saying. I mean, Elodin. No offense.
For Mr. Psalm, I liked the moments where it's mostly moments where he's interacting with Eladin. Like, I feel like it is a very fun kind of relationship they have where it's just kind of, I think it was during the, I'm trying to rack my brain because it's been so long, but it's mostly a moment where it was between you and Eladin. Those are fun moments. I'm trying to think of either it was the party where it was at Eladin's house where y'all were doing your little funny act where you're trying to pretend to be dating. And
Oh
it was
yeah, that
kind of,
was something else.
it was a bunch of goofs and gags, and I really liked that.
And the roller coaster and missteps of trying to break into the office. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
also
that
I
whole
really
bit.
like the moments where where Kundalini and Atlee butt heads. I
It's
like
fun.
those. Between Kundalini and Eladin, I like it whenever I get to leer at him. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. Why did you stomp on that person's neck? You shouldn't kill people. It's not good.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
Overrated.
It's overrated. That's probably the best way of putting it. but those are fun. I like I like it whenever me and Callahan are kind of on the same page as characters. Like we're like on the same side of the discussion. Like we're objective based. We want to get a job done, and we're like, we'll just deal with this with each other, or like we both like you know what to do, I know what to do. Let's just get it finished. Like it was during the party where we were trying to steal the things from the auction. Like I feel like
We were kind of on point. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of fun. Um, I like exploring all the relationships. I feel like the most I've explored was with Miss Mencha because we're just kind of with lack of a better word, we're just kind of gal pals.
We are. We are. We are. We are.
I'm just hanging out. Like it's fun to watch Miss Mencha live life and have fun and
Stab people in the face.
no.
I did not. I have yet to stab anyone in the face.
I think
Yes.
Kundli likes keeping her out of trouble.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I like the relationship with Eladin because Eladin is kind of like almost the opposite of Kundali. Not quite the opposite, but like it feels like Kibble. Like
Opposite
Eladin.
sides of the same coin, I think.
No.
I do.
Mhm.
No, I know. I meant for goals and what have you, but we've chosen different ways about it.
Yeah. Like I feel like you're more than willing to kill people, and
Yeah.
you're kind of. I feel like you kind of act evil in
Oh
some
yeah,
way. Or
definitely.
Kundali would think you're not evil, but not to your betterment of as an individual. Like you're
Yes, I
doing things to
understand.
your own detriment without realizing, thinking maybe these things are the best. Or that's
Mhm.
Kundali's perspective. Like the killing people. Those are two. I want to explore more of the relationship between Psalm and Kundali, and also
Yeah.
Kundali and Callahan,
Yeah.
because I like the potential there, because I did start some friction between Kundali and Psalm, which is it was honestly out of character, but I've already acted that way, so there's no going back on it, and I like conflict. And I'm interested in the interactions between Kundali and Callahan. And the final
Likewise.
thing, remaining mysteries. Kundali has no opinions on anyone's backstory. Kundali wouldn't want to pry into people's stuff like that.
Alrighty. Kibble, thoughts?
There's so many with so many different people. It's hard to say. I enjoyed. I mean, my favorite part with Atlee, it was this last session. It just that when the moment it clicked. My favorite part with Effie, all of it, because we just are so similar, and unfortunately are just two chaos gremlins together when we're together, and things just happen. So every single time that Eladin and Effie are alone together.
It's not our fault.
The DM's
Yeah.
got to prepare for anything. Everything.
Yeah, yeah. If I had to put my finger on any one of them, it was touching the big black hole in the snail shell.
Yes.
Snail shell is so good.
That was
Oh,
quintessential
yeah.
Eladin and Effie. Yep.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
but it's extremely close with all of our little moments like that, like killing
Wait.
the people on the boat or smashing down Terrell's front window and going in, and all of them, just all of them.
Can I mention a new thing?
Yeah.
Snapping Eladin's bones back in place.
I
After
forgot about that.
I like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. hmm
I can feel that.
With Callahan, it was. I think it's there's I think there's a surrogate father thing forming. So it's the little talks that we have between Elodin and Callahan. The advice, and I've been there, that I'm really enjoying, and I'm pushing to explore more. And with Kundali, everything, because Elodin can't figure it out and get into his brain yet, and it is driving him absolutely insane.
Mhm.
That's it. There's nothing really specific. It's just the whole situation as it is with each of you, really.
Cool.
Like you're kind of on the same roadmap that I am with you, with Elodin.
I think there's something. I think that's happening there. Ella definitely wants to push and figure out Kundali, because there's got to be something going on in there that he's repressing. There's got to be. And then as the whole dynamic is just started with Atlee, and then Effie that's just chaos incarnate, and it's amazing to play. So yeah.
All right. Holy.
Let's see. For Callahan, kind of as you were saying, our characters haven't interacted too much, but I think our most recent interaction, as he said before he went to the bar, I think it's gonna be a really fun beginning of our interactions on our two characters' like friendship journey and whatever it forms into be, and hanging out in that regard. I feel like they are able to have, I don't want to say unique connections because the backgrounds are not completely similar, but like Elodin, or sorry, like Callahan, um I don't want to say like how he lost his family. Um Atlee also lost his like best friend growing up. So while it's not the exact same, they both have that similar thing they can kind of consolidate in each other of loss. Of course, I don't think Atlee doesn't know anything about that yet, so that's why it's not, I guess, active yet. But I think that there's potential for that to have them form a closer connection. Um, I think what will be interesting moving on to Kundali is that while I don't want to say they're the same philosophy because they don't, but they touch upon similar topics because Kundali is all about not killing, while Atlee on the reverse side is all about preserving life of those he cares about. So it would be interesting to see how if or how Atlee's point of view changes with Kundali's interactions, as he kind of holds all life sacred completely, while Atlee really mainly cares about those he has relationship with or those he generally has community with. Like, he's obviously not friends with this entire village, but he doesn't want any of them to die. Kind of something along those lines, while Kundali seems like he's wants no one period to die. So I'm curious to see how that will affect their relationship. And as Kundali said, how will our little disagreement go with what just happened? Or will it lead to much or will it lead to nothing? I don't know. I guess we'll find out for that. And as for Kibbles character, Illidan is probably the character I've had the most interaction with so far. Whether that is sneaking into his dad's house and helping him find, the notebook, or helping him find documents, or help like the moving map we found, the journal we found, the ledger we found that translate the journal, and then the most recent thing that happened, which is definitely my most favorite moment between our characters, is the most recent that just happened. And then for Silver's character, Fia, one of the moments I found really fun, which I don't know, I thought was really fun for me, was when we first went to that dinner party. Um, she just kept taking out knives, and the guards just kept taking them. She took out like five or six knives, and I thought it was so funny. She just kept pulling them out because I think she failed like two or three like sneak checks, and she's like, "Fine, I have another one. Fine, I have a third one." So okay, actually, sorry, I swear this is the last sixth one, and it was. I look back on that very fondly because I thought it was really funny as a character moment for Effia. Um, let's see what other. Yeah. So I think that was kind of his overall or my overall opinion of interactions for each character that I would like to build with. I think there could be a lot in honestly most characters, and Atlee has had a decent amount of interactions with Afia, but I feel like a lot of them have been more surface level, so they are more along the lines of good acquaintances than like close friends just yet. Because I feel like our characters have had a few small moments together, but it hasn't been ones where I've had with like Eldon or even just recently with Callahan's character. So I think I can definitely grow I think Atlee can definitely grow in friendship with the other characters as much as his current relationship with each character is. As for mysteries, um, that honestly, the ghost boat is really interesting, and uh, it's not. I don't know if
It
it's
did
really a
sink
mystery.
to the bottom of the bay.
It did, but we can go if we can go to the
I,
Feywild. I feel like we can go under the ocean.
but the mystery I mean is more like how the heck did it like get stuck in time for 50
Yes.
years?
Yes.
Yeah. And
What made it
I don't
come
know.
back and what made it come here?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's kind of more to me by the mystery, not like its ending, but like how it got to there. And I don't know if it counts as a mystery. But Atlee is pretty curious about what's happening with Tabella and what her whole story is in getting her way back to her Elven lands.
Mm.
All
Oof,
right.
nice. Some water.
Silver.
Oh, okay. Okay, wait, my phone went to sleep. Hold on. Eek. Okay, so Afia has a lot of fun with Callahan, and I think one of my favorite parts is when you first showed up and then you destroyed my shoes. And I was like, this is gonna be my new friend. You're gonna constantly mess up my clothes. I'm gonna give you grief about it, but we're gonna be friends through it all. And I was like, yeah, that's new besties.
I still
Um,
owe you a pair of shoes, don't I?
no, I think you paid me back. I think we also just broke them like immediately 30 seconds after getting them. It's it's fine.
Yeah, we did.
It's fine. I just imagine that at home, Afia has like a whole giant closet dedicated to just different pairs of shoes.
And broken ones.
It's and no, we don't talk about the broken ones. We don't. That's a dark moment in Afia's past, and we're not trying to go back to those dark places. Uh, I always have fun with Kundali. Kundali stuck with me. I feel like Afia tried to be getting you out of your shell, and now I just kind of drag you along wherever I feel like going, and I'm just like, yeah, Kundali, let's go. And you're constantly picking me up and taking me places, and Afia's like, I just have to just accept this. And I think Afia finds like novelty in it because they're technically the oldest out of all their siblings and should be setting a good example and probably does at home and then comes out and then hangs out with y'all and it's like, oh, there's nothing holding me down. It's time to just unleash the fury. And
I
I
am the
appreciate
child now.
that. Right. I am the child now. And I think Afia appreciates that about hanging out with Kundali, especially when they found out that you don't like eating like 99% of food. And they're like, oh, okay. Afia wants to figure out what you're going to eat and what you're going to enjoy the most. And it's just going to constantly just be like, you need to eat this. But you're also a good shopping buddy because you carry everything. And that was very helpful. Afia appreciates that. Eladin, my brother in chaos. My brother from another mother. I have to take you everywhere too because I need to be able to like cause a fire and then like run out. Like I feel like we if we're hanging out together we're I'm trying to figure out which
we're
fighting.
not good for each other.
We're never good for each other, but like the property damage makes up for it. It's not our property that got destroyed, and so therefore it's okay. I really liked when you left your dad behind and was just like, "Fuck it, you're
Mhm.
gone." And I was like, "You are now my brother. We are family now." That's my other favorite scene when we all decided that we were family, and I was like, "Yeah, this is great. I love this. I love found family." Um, and then yeah, Atlee, you're right. We never hang out, but that's okay because from the side, I know we're not shipping or doing romance, but I'm like, oh my god, these two, you and Eldon, y'all are my ship. I feel like definitely need to like send little noodles in their little journal, and it's just like Eldon and Atlee, they hung out together, they held hands, they stood next to each other. Look at this great ship in their little journal, and I think that that's what Afia feeds off like the most.
He is
But
just
you're
writing
right.
BL in the background.
That'd be the
I sure am. I sure am.
funniest bit. Everyone thinking they're dating, but them not really.
No,
Yeah,
they're
they,
not.
they,
They're
they
not.
swore an oath together. They have to be
Right?
dating.
And they're not.
Just
And it's
best
just like that's
friends.
right.
They went to they went to his parents' house in their office. And it's like, well, they have to be
Right?
dating. No, they're not.
Right? They tricked that guard that one time and thinking that they were having a relationship, and I'm like, yeah, that's a romance if I've ever saw one.
It's like you have your own little journal. It's like, like you're writing your little story about them. It's like, and then they live happily ever after.
Listen, it's fine. It's not the first time that I/Afia have fallen headfirst into a canon ship that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you saying? Of course, Sokka and Zuko are dating. Have you seen them? They're bromance. It's perfect. Listen, that's what I just feel like. Afia's just like, no, it's fine. Me and Atlee don't have to ever have to talk because I'm surviving off these crumbs of my ship.
You're living vicariously through the ship, or
I don't know. It might be vicariously living through them or just loving the ship. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Afia just needs the fuel for their fan fiction. It's fine. They have at least 3 journals dedicated to it.
You guys have just become the main heroes in a brand new rom-com.
Listen,
Apparently.
oh,
listen. It's been like I've been like this. I've been sitting on this for like months. Y'all don't understand. I was like, oh, when they went to the party and you were like, oh, what did you? I think you like cooked arms or something. And I was like, oh my god, we're not shipping. We can't ship because this is not a shipping game. But it's been happening in my brain for like ever. In my side
Okay.
notes, I'm like,
I
this
swear
is
to God,
right.
Eladin wants it to be a shipping story because what he did when we teleported with like after the snail shell or a flail snail or whatever, or
Well, Snail.
you know what I mean? Like
Chaos Gremlin sale.
he put it into chaos gremlin mode and like made it so that we spooned when we teleported.
See,
Like,
I mean, it's the
he loves-
material's
he loves
just there,
chaos.
okay?
He loves chaos just as much as I do.
Absolutely.
Listen, the material's right there. Afia has at least 12 journals dedicated. It's fine. It's fine. And in the background, there's a little bit of Terrell murder, but it's fine. It's okay.
Terrell's
Just-
honestly one of the best parts about Afia. Her just absolute
Listen.
obsessive hate.
Listen, you guys don't understand. I had my first hate journal at like the age of 10. My family was very confused. They had to accept it.
Oh my goodness.
I lived through Afia, and Afia lived through me. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine.
Awesome. All
We
right.
haven't talked about Callahan, have you?
Oh,
I
He was the
did
first
mention
person.
Callahan at the start.
Yeah, the fact that I got her shoes muddy.
No,
Right.
you broke my heel.
I did break your heel with the thorns.
Oh, I got a little
Oh, wait.
defensive. I'm so sorry.
I forgot to mention with Kibble. I wasn't like defining everyone's relationship, but I ended up doing it, but I didn't do it with Eladin. And I was gonna say, Eladin, I do have a work relationship with Kundli and Eladin, and so we also try to get the business done.
Yeah.
Like Eladin, Kundli, and Callahan. As far as Kundli is concerned, are like these guys I can work with.
Everybody else, you're never quite certain what they're gonna do. Yeah.
I can just hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. So you remember? I don't know. You've probably all seen it. So you know in Avatar when they ended up burning down like that house or whatever at the party with Mai and Zuko and Azula and Ty. I feel like that's me and Eladin. We just hang out somewhere and then just something catches on fire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's not in
it's
place
not our
what
fault.
happened to Terrell's place. We all walked in and said, "Hey, bitches,
It
we're
did start.
back,"
It started
We did.
catching
and the
fire.
place exploded.
It's not
And-
our
and
fault
then
that
ours
she
was-
sucks.
Well,
She
I'm
shouldn't have been
glad
so
to.
annoying.
I'm glad they give you a character to hate that you haven't killed yet.
All right. Hey, so Scott, let's turn the tables. What's your favorite thing for each one of our characters?
Mhm.
Favorite
And what's your
moment?
least favorite?
I don't think I could do the least favorite. Favorite moment. So for Ifia, it's absolutely the mask collection and improv there, because it was not the Terrell masks, the tribal masks,
Oh yeah.
because that was the first like emotionally charged piece of D&D I had ever played. And I mean, I think at that point I'd been playing for a couple of years, but that like it physically, it made like I felt, I could feel it in my chest, like the conversation we were having. It's just definitely my favorite moment for Afia.
Aw.
The
If anybody's watching this, we did not record that scene because we were sad.
yeah.
Mhm.
Atlee. Probably on the same level as Afia's is again. It's the second emotionally charged bit we had here when you were stuck between Eladin and Kundali back and forthing, and it was kind of, it was all on you, to determine where what exactly happened after that, and that that would be that, because yeah, that's my point for Allie. And then for Eladin, well, I guess the emotional charge thing is kind of a trend here, isn't it? Because it's the breakaway from the Manticore. His just the conversation there, the suspense, and the palpable in the air. Just it was like a fog was stuck there, and we were just we were watching through a blurred lens. That whole conversation was spectacular. For Kundali,
I don't have emotions.
yeah, well, he is low on emotion. It's probably stun locking the drow, and then your kind of like Kundali's disappointment, or even aghast reaction as everybody just piles on the guy and then kills him. And then for Callahan, I think Callahan's original monologue, which would have been, I don't know, maybe it was like session 3 or something with you, when he opened up about when he shared like the first portions of his his backstory with the group, I think. Although Callahan's also had a lot of really spectacular, just like damage turns. Oh, and as far as like combat goes too, like Atlee's crit with the inflict wounds was pretty awesome.
Dude,
So
that-
crazy.
That
felt very good.
that was wrong, man. That was wrong.
That felt very, very, very good.
That shit was dirt. That's like morally reprehensible.
It was.
That shit was evil.
I
It
just
saved our, all I know is
murdered
it
that
saved
thing.
our asses.
Evil.
For a life cleric as well.
Yeah.
All
A
right.
life cleric. I take lives and I give it too.
And for the future, remember, if I do stun people, you can do that and get a better chance of critting.
Oh, that's right.
Advantage.
That's another thing too. Also for Atlee, when the first mass healing word you did after the fireball took out the members, Dorothy, the little girl, and was it Elizabeth? Yeah, when the fireball took them out on the boat with Captain. You the first time you used the mass healing word and got everybody back up.
That definitely felt very good. Particularly in character for him to save and not just have death happen.
All right, on to our. Oh, yeah,
So
go
that
ahead.
mass healing word you dropped on us during that Jabberwocky fight was pretty on point too.
That was clutch as well. Yeah, it would have been at least two of you down.
Oh,
Yeah.
at least, yeah. That was a very good feeling too. Killing feels very good, surprisingly.
Right? I mean,
Like,
The new version.
I'm like doing damage, but like not. It's really weird and really fun at the same time.
All right, on to our last little series of questions here. Did you feel that rules and rulings were typically handed consistently? Any suggestions for improvements for me? Are there any questions that should have been asked but haven't up until this point? And is there anything you'd like to see happen differently? Is there a particular NPC or plot point that we glossed over and maybe we want to circle back around to? And then we already discussed a little bit what you wanted to see for your characters in the next arc. But is there any specific style of encounters or background overarching even climate kind of thing? Are we that is a little bit limited in like terrain, is like the whole area to the north of where we are is swampland, and then like south is more plains, and east is ocean, and west is swamps into jungle, like I believe. But is there any
I think a cool thing to see us do would be kind of like a chase, a chase scene through the city. You're trying to capture someone who's trying to get away from us, or having a running fight through the streets.
Which, excuse me. Which would be all well and good, except there is a member of our party that can travel at supersonic speeds and grapple things with ease.
It has to be a creature. It'll be an ooze creature. It'll be a plasmoid, so it has like
If it's
advantage
like
on.
if it's like not large, if it's a huge thing, I won't be able to grapple it.
But no. My point is not it's what is making it a challenge for us would make it so easy for her Happy. But what would make it for a challenge for him would make it impossible for us to keep up and have any effect on whatsoever. So
no, it's fine. Well, I'll just get on his back. It'll be fine. He can carry us.
Yeah,
all.
sure.
It's one of those situations where I'd advocate for having a immunity to stun.
Mm-hmm. So while although feel free to have an attempt, be aware that's something quite difficult for like this party.
Right. I will say the original idea for the Jabberwocky fight was a chase sequence. It didn't pan out, but when I first wrote it down and started looking for maps, I was thinking it was chase sequence, but it didn't pan out.
Wait, is it chasing us or us
Yes.
chasing it?
Yeah, you would have
Okay.
been running away from it. And if that had been the case, it would have been so the Jabberwocky you guys fought was more like a CR10 or 11. The base Jabberwocky is a CR13, so it was modified a bit. But if we had done the chase sequence, it would have been may even actually have buffed it more.
Mm.
That makes sense.
It was still very fun fighting it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So rules and rulings. I know there have been occasions where one-off instances have happened for sure. There also, of course, there was some things we missed, such as there was a point where Ifia had the wrong pieces of her subclass set up, but that all got fixed out at this point. You've also we've learned that the spells can be cast up to your number of spell slots.
Woo.
At
It's a learning curve for me. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's all good. I think there was a time where maybe when I was a little frustrated where I didn't correct Eric on the triple attack, and I think we've gotten to the point where we, at least if we're not immediately recognizing, we momentarily after talking about it, we realize it, so it doesn't like spend a whole lot of time on it. There is a little feature with Stunning Strike that hasn't come up, and I think it's because
Right.
you're using the Unearthed Arcana version before they finalized it. I think. Where it allows you to use it on every attack.
Wait, you can use it on every attack?
No, you can't.
No. Okay. Oh, like that was the thing that I was like, that's the assumption I had. Like you can only use it on one attack per attack turn, or per attack action. You know what I mean? Once per turn.
Yeah, but I think if you can spend multiple discipline points, so you can theoretically do it on
Every attack.
Yeah, it would just cost you a bunch of discipline points to do it. No, it does say once per turn. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say you can only attempt it once per turn.
Okay. All right.
And that's the better version of the ruling.
Right.
Because
yeah.
if it was every single attack,
Like
that
it
would
is
be
in the
annoying.
2014 version.
It'd be very annoying for both you and me.
Okay. And I think that was it as far as rules and rolling. There's been occasions I think where I've there's nothing that's been really unconventional, but there's been some actually I really can't think of anything immediately offhand, but okay. Any suggestions or questions? And is there anything any characters? I know Atlee said he'd like to revisit Tybella, figure out what happened to her. Any NPCs other than that, plot points that kind of we went past quickly. I will say,
What happened to that little boy?
Yeah,
Billy Bob?
We're like on the same mindset. I was asking about the child.
Right.
That's because we're connected. We're family.
We're just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did forget to transfer him over. Actually, he's on the other map still.
And I'm glad that Mort's still alive. I mean, I know he can't die, but I'm glad he's still alive.
Yeah.
He makes a good
not
cat.
die?
He
Yeah,
can't.
There's been
Look at me, Kundali. Look at me happy. He cannot die. I don't think I can handle it emotionally.
Yeah, there's been an awful lot of plot points we've just sort of skipped by, but nothing that Elodin's particularly interested in pursuing in particular. It's just a case of if anybody else wanted to do anything. He doesn't
I wanna
even
go more-
care whether he's safe yet or not.
Yeah, I want to shop some more. Want to buy some more fabric, dress Kundalini in more clothes. You make a great mannequin, by the way. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun with interacting with the deaf cat. Kundalini not catching up on the fact that he's deaf, and then Miss Mencha like explaining things to him. I like that.
Like, you got this.
That's I like that gag.
Yeah. So
I want to
the
buy
whole
another musical instrument.
for
Cal
sure.
hasn't met that cat yet.
The whole Feywild arc didn't have any like comic relief characters really, because I know there's been a couple I've had in the past. Like we had the Goblin Trio, Mort himself. There was
20 out of 10 for Mort.
Farston, if you remember Mr. Womple with the rats.
I think
wow, yeah.
that that dwarf that was underneath, like that was like made out of stone and digging through the earth. I think that was funny.
Oh, okay, yep.
I like Brathadar when I thought he was just going to be a hair care model.
I
Down
think
for that.
Orome as a concept is funny.
I think Orme should add to our collection of growing
NPC
friends.
companions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you collect too many. I gotta start kill them off. But
Well, no, we'll just forget about them for like 12 sessions and be like, yeah, what happened to them? Are they still, as long as they're not hanging out with Terrell, I think they'll be safe.
Mm.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like, that's a
have another thing too. Have the random encounters been up to par? So the ones that come to mind, of course, like the more memorable ones to me anyway, are the Bone Naga and then Fido, the robot dog or whatever.
to be
I like the
honest.
Bone
I
Naga.
don't,
That was
It's
a
about
fun
the
one.
no, Naga, let's go.
I
I
like them
don't
all.
really remember them. To
Okay.
be honest.
I remember the Bone Naga now, and I love the Bone Naga.
Well, the Bone Naga led to the Old Ladies Museum, which led to the masks. So
Right.
yeah,
20 out of 10. Let's
That's
go.
true. And the it's just a me thing. That's a happy thing.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying it for Fabled. I think they're fitting in really well.
Oh, the dog. I forgot about training the dog. Yeah, I love that damn dog. Bring the dog back. Bring more dogs. 20 out of 10.
If I
Or dog.
remember correctly, Happy and Elodin were, or Elodin and Kundali were very upset at the father with the dog thing.
I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, we were.
But like, dog. So,
Actually,
dog.
that was funny.
Have a dog, you put it on the damn leash.
Right. He said that was overrated. What is this? Oh, I forgot I had a whole section of songs I queued up. Boop, boop, boop. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just
All
trying
right.
to think of what Athea will sing later.
So I
Wouldn't be a
think
D&D night if we didn't hear a boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I
I
should,
turn off my stereo in my bathroom
should
every day, and it's like
clip that and put it on my soundboard.
boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop.
All right. I think I am good with my questions. Then I will read through. If people send me stuff in writing, I will read through it, of course. If you don't, that is also perfectly acceptable. And I have a bunch of work to do to
Oh wait,
figure out.
I have actually now that I'm like something I want like for a future Brathadar. I want to see if he actually died, or like to see if that
Ooh,
gives
that's
any
so
kind
good.
of progression
Yeah.
to it.
Did
Like,
he die
is
or
he
did he get
dead?
teleported?
Yeah. Did
Oh, that's such a good point,
did his
actually.
wife die?
Because for all that's good, really quick. Because they've just been teleported away. Because he just like he like Thanos disappeared.
Mm-hmm. He turned into
Mhm.
dust.
I
Another brothel.
will see what I can do to make
And
what
maybe,
happened more clear.
Also, his wife. Are you gonna? Another thing, I want to learn about his wife in the future, whether she's alive or not, whether we find her grave, whether da 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 da.
Was
You
it
know what I mean?
actually 200 years? Or how? Yeah.
Exactly. Whether his god lying to us, because I think he's full of shit.
I know you do.
I mean,
that was pretty evident.
I believe I thought that whole scenario was just like we were in the Matrix. All seemed very fake. I don't
You
know.
said I don't trust it.
I don't trust it. I
Hmm.
even questioned Orome.
But Orme's blue horse.
He's a blue horse.
Yeah, I
He's a
know.
That
blue
can
horse.
talk.
Yeah, okay, and I trust him. I
And
trust
he has a
Orme
lie
with.
detector. And he sided with the god.
Listen, I trust Orme. He is blue horse, be cute. I love him.
Also, he was
I-
owned by that devil.
Okay, and we all get owned by a devil every now and then. I don't.
I mean, look how often Effie, I guess, owned by her little devil, and it goes ham and crazy goblin.
Right.
That did not make
stuff
sense.
just happens. It made sense to me.
I understood.
We should
that, yeah.
introduce boy bands.
I routinely don't make sense. Happy, it's just the way it is.
I don't make sense either. I'm prone to it. I like making no sense.
Absolutely understood what you meant, though.
Imagine being married to me. That's what my wife deals with every day.
Alrighty.
Dog has to deal with me every day. Poor thing.
I am going to thank you all for participating in this. I really appreciate it. Let me double check I think I have it written as off next week, which is next week's the 4th anyway, isn't it?
It I haven't
Yes.
celebrated that in
Okay.
years.
Yes. Yeah. So no game next week. I currently have the next 2 weeks in July planned, with the 25th being a no game and 1st of August being a no game. That 11th or 18th could both turn into no games, depending on how much time I'm able to get preparations done.
Okay.
But the second week in August, which I don't have listed, will almost certainly be back. And the 11th or the 18th, I would definitely hope to play at least one of those. Then I'm gone
Yes.
the final week in July.
Okay.
Yes, if there's
So
anything...
I'll be back at work on the week of the 22nd. So just send me reminders, because I will be back to planning chaos for small children, and I will definitely be sleepy. And I don't remember when we're having open house. And if it's on Friday, I will let y'all know. And if so, play without me, because I will not be awake enough to do anything beyond. So,
Yes.
there's
Yep.
that.
Yeah. And reminder, just, if there's a scheduling conflict, something comes up, just let me know. And we have no problem postponing. It's not never been a problem. I hope it never will be.
Yeah. Just assume
And,
that I'm asleep, guys, if I don't join on time.
I'll knock on your door. Wake up,
I mean,
wake up.
at
Candy
this point, I
time.
wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, hey.
Oh my goodness.
Luna,
FBI,
you
okay.
didn't wake me up.
all right.
I baby wake up. She's a baby.
I'm going to head out. Thank you again for everybody for coming and just chatting with us, figuring out some, maybe this will make specific moments stick in your mind more, and we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching / listening. If you made it this far, you will have heard my thanks. Otherwise, you won't, and that's on you. Have a good one. Goodbye.